I said before, the fan switch, which is this one down there, is knackered. I think it's knackered. I'm going to take it out. I've got a replacement. It's FAE. Get part number on there, possibly part number for the B18. So I'm just going to take it out. I don't have a spanner big enough. It must be like a 24 or something. So going with this and just obviously undo it and then put the new one in. Just put in the fan switch sensor, and then I took off the thermostat ground as it was getting in the way before. I can just take out the bridge wire because that meant the fan was always on. Just take that out now, and then I can just plug this sensor in like so. There we go, and then I'll just put that 10mm bolt through there to ground. A bit of a strange one here, that the fan switch is not working even though it's a brand new one. And I'm just going to start off with some kind of basics first. Sorting out the thermostat earth. So I've just kind of sanded that down with a small file. You can see it's possible to come down in here and then just kind of sand back and forward and get that clean. Also done the actual terminal, the little eyelet both sides. I'll do the same to the bolt as well. I don't really need to do that, but yeah, so that's all going to be all good. And then I'm just going to go and clean up all the earths, so all the grounds. So I'm going to do that. So there's one there, and there's one at the back. Just clean all those up. So as I said before, the radiator fan isn't coming on, so what I decided to do is, rather than just have it pinned so it's always on, I'm just going to put it on a switch. So I've just done some little connectors. So this kind of spade female on one side and the male on the other side. So the male is obviously going to go in there. So these two will go into the connector because I don't want to take the connector off. And then the other side's going to go onto the switch because someone's already actually gone ahead and drilled the cowl. This wasn't me. Drilled the cowl kind of in a rude fashion, but there you go. There, so I'm just going to put a switch there and run the switch I've got inside and show you what it looks like and check it works first. So with the wires in there, just check the switch. Ooh, works. Yeah, all working. Wire through the old speedo cable hole. Just come in here. You can see it's come up there. I just need to feed that round through to here. All I was talking about, just feed this through the hole and then tighten the little lock nut on the back of it. So, moment of truth. Want my fans on, and they're coming on. So just done a few jobs here. Put some nylock nuts on top of here. Zip tied a few wires to stop them rattling. I've cut a bit of this top tube radiator hose just to make the bend a little bit less extreme, so that's a bit better. And I've also bent back a heat shield for the brake on this side because I think it was squeaking. So just a few little run-of-the-mill things, but it's all stuff you notice only when you go for a bit of a drive like I've done today. So did an hour to a car show, an hour back, and it was fine. Didn't overheat, didn't do anything really. So it was all good. I think it does need to be tuned. We'll get a better map on the ECU, but other than that, it all ran as it should do. So I was driving and I noticed that the speed that I was driving at was different to the speed that's displaying on the dashboard, but that's okay because I can just pop this cable in here and connect this up to my computer via USB and change the settings. So again, I'm on the instructions, and it has this little hot link here, opens this little XE. Then I can basically just read the device, and while that's doing that, I'm going to quickly have a look on my phone. I was doing 70 miles an hour when it was saying I was doing 112. So here we can do the calculation. So speed on the GPS was 70 miles an hour, and divide that by speed on the cluster, so that is 112. And what's that equal to? 0.625 times that by 100. .5, that's a percent, and then minus 100. So I need to put in minus 37.5 into this. So I go back to this tool, and the maximum I can do is minus 25. So looks like, well, let's try it. See if minus 37.5. Oh, it just says plus or minus 25. So right to, yeah, it's out of range. So I'll just have to try minus 25%. Right to the device. It's doing something. Right into it. It's done it. So let's just read the device. And it has the minus 25%. So it's a bit annoying, it doesn't really have that range on there. But I'll leave it at minus 25 and see how close I am to it. It should be closer, if not that close itself. Having an issue with these gauges not quite fitting. They fit where they are in this double DIN unit, but they were fouling on this lower piece of plastic. So all I've done is use these two bolts. So these are the M4 bolts through this little hole in the metal there, just below these plastic clips. It seems all quite solid, and that's just dropped it down a tiny bit, probably a centimetre, and that should enable me to fit this whole thing. But the proof in the pudding will be in the eating. Let's see if I can throw this on, but to get those on I had to just undo these three screws and push the thing back and get my finger down the back. It was all a bit of a faff, but got it done. Let's have a look. Finally managed to get all my gauges in, and this centre console in as well. Needless to say, the whole thing involved a few zip ties, but there we go. And they all are all working. And I think I might try and connect up the fuel pressure gauge now. The water temp is obviously not working, because I need to measure the top hose in a diameter and buy the adapter. The volt's obviously working, the air fuel gauge or lambda is working, and the oil pressure is not working yet because I need to put the sandwich plate. So I think I can probably at least do the fuel pressure and measure for the water temperature, and then when I do my next oil change, when I spin off my oil filter, I'll put the sandwich plate in for these top two. This is the fuel pressure regulator and the rail as it stands, and I need to stick this fuel pressure sender in here. Now I think the only way to do it will be to move the fuel pressure regulator over to being on this port, which is just hiding underneath there, this bit of plastic, and then pop this in there. So the first thing I'm going to do is disconnect the wiring here, and maybe just actually this bit of plastic. I'll get rid of that first and see what kind of room I have to play with, and then I'm going to move the fuel pressure regulator. Plastic unclipped, so I can just pick out this wiring from here and get rid of this bit of plastic shell. So I've just got rid of this bit of plastic that was here, and just run this. Actually looks a lot neater when you run the cables underneath, so that's good. And now I'm going to just move this over. I could just have a look at how much space I have. You see, I want to run it so that I can see the gauge on here. So I really think moving this whole thing to here, to this port here, is going to be good. Obviously I can't really run it as it is now. There's no port on the back as well, so if I flipped it round 180 it wouldn't do me any favours. So yeah, what I'm going to do is just move this over. If I look there, it's like that, it's going to be there. I think I'll just have enough space. It's going to be tight because of this. So after much messing around I realised the only place to put it will actually be probably here. So instead of this gauge I'm going to put it here, and hopefully it won't interfere with anything, because it is a bit taller. But I'm hoping I've got the space under my bonnet. We'll see, I guess. So with the engine idling, it's only at very low, it's about 2. What I'm going to do is just turn this in, make sure this little lock nut is back off enough so it doesn't wind itself in. But you can see here, as I wind it in, got to about 3. PTFE tape, and what you want to do is loop it around like this, so as you screw it in it doesn't rip the PTFE tape off. So just do that, and then I'll just wind this in. Put this on, try and use scissors so you get a nice straight end, not straggly bits. Test, can I even close my bonnet? Snap that connector. Yep, I can close my bonnet. And I'll have a look, see if there's any witness marks on that. The thing about this stuff is sometimes you can try and fit something in where you want it. I wanted obviously to be able to run the manual gauge, and the actual gauge of my car, it just wouldn't fit. And sometimes you just gotta, you know, not do what you want to do. I can't put it there because it's going to catch on absolutely everything. I've got to have it like this, but that's fine. I'm still going to get a fuel gauge which is inside the car, which is pretty useful. Just means when I go to make changes, if I ever do the base fuel pressure, I'll have to look inside the car each time, which is a bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Right now I've got these 2 wires. I've got a white wire and a black wire, and I wrote a note on my thing. G goes to white and M goes to black. So G, which is there, goes to white, so I'll put that on, and M goes to black. So I'll connect those up and see if this thing works. G goes to white, M goes to black. What I'm going to do is just knock this off here for now and see if I can get the equivalent of 4 kilograms centimetres squared. So exciting. Yeah, similar. It won't change when I rev it. Yeah, 4 kilograms centimetres squared is close to 4 bar, so kind of not reading exactly the same, but mind you that thing was flicking over quite a range, so let's just try it again. This whole thing is 4.5, I can kind of believe that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that thing out of the way, and also I am going to connect the vacuum and just see if when I rev it, it should change the fuel pressure because it's rising rate. Insulated the ends a bit better. Just to pop this back on here. Might bung a little bit of tape on the end of these actually, just so they can't contact the bottom of the bonnet. Hopefully they won't anyway. Ran this a little bit shorter into the end, into the cabin. Alright. Not sure about this whole demo song and dance thing it does at the start, but yeah, good, it moves around, but that's all good. So I've got my voltmeter, I have my fuel pressure, and I have my air-fuel ratio. So yeah, looking good. I just need to sort out this, which is the coolant temperature. So I definitely don't trust. I've got a bit of a problem with this. I definitely don't trust it. If I flick on the heater, you can see. If you can see it flicker, I think it's sharing an earth or something weird. If you chuck the heater on, it gains temperature. Well, it doesn't gain temperature, it just gains temperature. It shows on here. But when you look at the, see, there you go. There's just no way that that would be the case. Even when the engine's off, it does that. Really strange. So I don't really trust that temperature so much at the moment. I think I need to definitely have a look at the grounds for that, which I might do now. First up, I've changed where my grounds are, especially the ground for this. I've put it for a big long wire going straight to the battery in the boot. So this is obviously a temporary fix, but let's see now. Okay. Bear in mind, this is, the engine's not even on. If it leaps up to the second bar, I know I've got a problem. Start the thing. So I think we may have a fix on here, because it's just the battery's a bit flat. It's causing that thing to drop a bit in terms of the light, but before it was increasing in temperature. So I think I may have fixed a key problem I had, which is good news. Okay, moral of the story is the car's just running really, really rich. It's alright kind of part load or better part load, but full load it's just running super, super rich. And I think it's because I've just got a GSR base map on it, and it's not doing it any favours. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look, and I've got several different other ECUs. I've got the standard ECU that came from the MC2. I'm going to give that a go and see if it's any better. The good news is that also the coolant temperature issue is fixed, so it doesn't matter if I run the fans or not, it's all good. This doesn't go up, so it was just simply that the earth for the K-tuned was just you know, must have been connected or backfeeding something else. The standard ECU seemed to be running better, especially when on full load. It didn't creep down to fully rich, which is good. Whereas my mapped ECU, which is also is chipped, socketed ECU, has got the wrong map on it as well, because that was going full rich as well, which isn't really what you want. You want it to be safe, but you don't want it to just be throwing loads and loads of extra fuel, and it's not efficient, and it's not actually the best way of making power. So that is that. But other little issues I noticed. One, the battery doesn't ever seem to be going up to 14 volts, so I'm going to just check that with a voltmeter across the battery. And two, it wouldn't always start, so it took like 4th time to start, and that's usually the spade connector. So I'm just going to have a quick look at that. Here's the spade connector I'm talking about. Doesn't look an amazing fit onto the starter motor. I'm just going to use some pliers and just make that a bit better. Alright, let's see if I know anything about Hondas. Just made that crimp a little bit tighter. Hope if I get the right key. No, something else. Second start. So we've got like almost 12 volts there. Voltmeter is saying 12 volts exactly, almost. So I'm thinking this is a bit wrong. And now when it's running, so I'm running about 13.4 volts, and here is saying I'm running 13.8. So there's a bit of a discrepancy. So 13.8 says here about 13.4. Bit of discrepancy, but nothing too major. There's a little cut of the hose. I'm using the top hose, so I think I want about 30 mil in the outer diameter of the adapter.